Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Farheen Hassan and I'm the manager operations at AdLab. Today we are here to talk about effective teaching strategies. And for that, we have Ms. Rubab Tahir, who is an experienced educationist with over 15 years in academic leadership, teacher training, and curriculum development. She specializes in fostering innovative learning environments and implementing strategies to enhance teaching effectiveness and student engagement. Her expertise lies in driving academic excellence and empowering educators through professional development initiatives. So over to you, Mr. Wab Tahir. You may start your session now.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, and a
Salam.
very good hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and a very good evening to all of you. I'm Rubab Tahir, and thank you so much, Ms. Farheen, for the detailed introduction. And I feel like it is self-explanatory that I am an educationist and I am associated with the education sector for more than 15 years. The expertise I hold are more towards the early years and the primary sector, but overall, have been heading many organizations and many school campuses and branches, and they are very well known as well. So today we are gathered here to talk about few of the effective teaching methodologies and the strategies. Why I have chosen this topic, we will be discussing this later on as well during the session. And I feel like you are always welcome for the questioning. Wherever you feel like you want to ask something or you want me to elaborate something, I'll definitely do it. And we can have side by side discussions as well. So I'm just going to present my slides now. So the topic that I have chosen is the effective teaching methods and the strategies. So what I felt by making the presentations that we all know because of the AI and we are dealing with the technology and we are dealing with the students uh, who they're far, far more better than us in the technologies. And this is the era of technology and AI. But sometimes, when if it comes to physical teaching and physical interaction with the students and with the teachers as well, sometimes we do lack in the understanding of the basic needs of maybe an individual or maybe the need of the situation as well. That matters a lot. So I'll say, okay, if you can just unmute your mic, if you could describe an effective teacher in one word, what would it be? I just want to take your responses. You can unmute your mic one by one and just one word for an effective teacher. Anyone? You can even write down in the chat box. Okay, influencer. Thank you, Miss Noor. Anyone else? Okay, motivator, influencer, good listener. Yes, specifically good listener. Thank you so much, Ms. Zoha and Mahajabeen as well. And a mentor. Thank you, Ali Rabil. Supporter, mentor, supporter, good listener, motivator, influencer. Uh, very well explained. These all are the words that support what? Support the education system or support the effectiveness of whatever you are doing in the classroom or directly face to face, your one to one with the students or maybe with the adults as well. Okay, so now today what we are going to discuss, what methods that you've been exposed to. Few of the instructional methods, they are very like basic instructional method that we are exposed to, but somehow we uh, we confuse all these things with the different terminologies and with the different strategies that and though we are practicing all these things on the daily basis, but sometimes it is very difficult to differentiate between few of the things. So we'll be discussing more about the characteristics of a learner. What are the characteristics of a learner? Then we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about the teaching methods, then the teaching strategies, teaching aid, and the teaching approach. These four terminologies are very common nowadays, and we usually have this thing in our mind, but somehow we we do confuse the methodology with the strategy with the approach. It is a very common one. Then factors of deciding on a proper method. Then we'll be talking about the learning pyramid and stages of designing the instructions, how well your instructions should be designed for the effective to to convert those instructions into effective manner. Then the tutor's role as a facilitator, then jigsaw teaching strategies and the applications. So I have only one strategy at the moment because keeping in mind the time limit as well. So the major characteristics of a good learner are autonomous and self-directed, have a foundation of life experiences and knowledge, are goal oriented, are relevancy oriented, are practical, and need to be shown respect. Now let's discuss about few of the things. When we talk about the students, when we talk about the child, we usually say that tell them, uh, not tell them what to do, tell them how to do. Okay, so it's a self direction. It's a self direction. We just choose the right path, the right direction to a child. That what you have to do, how you have to do, you have to select your own path. Yeah. So the same case is like the students are usually self-directed. They have the foundation of life experiences and knowledge. And the foundation of the life experiences, it varies from time to time, it varies from subject to subject, varies from child to child. Sometimes being a facilitator in the classroom, you learn more from a child because the child is holding his or her own life experiences, no matter what, he or she is only 4 years old. Doesn't matter at all. I'm dealing with the students, I learn a lot from them. No matter what, it can be only patience, it can be only sharing, it can be only sharing the love or the expressiveness that they carry with them. So, or maybe a smile, that's contagious as well. These all are the life experiences that we face. How they have faced these things in many different scenarios. Are goal oriented, obviously, you have to set the goal for them, and the relevancy oriented are practical need to be shown respect. Respect, obviously, is the basic. Now let's discuss few of the things like method and the strategy. Any answer? What do you think? What is the difference between a method and a strategy? Again, I'm opening the chat box. Any responses? What do you think? What is a method and what is a strategy? What is the difference between? Method is specific way to do something, while a strategy is a plan to achieve a goal. Very nice. Method is a process and strategy is a plan. True. True. Okay, method is just the way of teaching something step by step. Okay, and strategy is something that we make it innovative or innovate and interesting. Nice responses. Now let's discuss and let's see what is the actual difference between these two things. So the what is a method? Method, as you have already discussed, method is a systematic procedure, technique, and mode of inquiry employed by proper to a particular discipline or art. So it's a proper procedure and the proper technique how you are going to conduct that thing. It's a proper method. So you have to select your method first, how you are going to conduct that thing in the classroom. It can be the lecture explaining, maybe it's like face to face lecture thing. Resource people, maybe you have called up anyone for the session, maybe to your classroom. There are different case studies. If maybe you are having the group discussion, and the case study and group discussion can be relevant to each other, and they can be done in isolation as well. And the brainstorming, bus groups, and the field trip or the tours, these are some of the few of the methods that usually we adopt these methods in the classrooms while doing different instructional strategies. But again, now let's see what is the difference between a method and a strategy. The strategy is careful planning that serves an important function in achieving a specific outcome. Like one of the member already shared, like it's the planning, the strategy is the planning. So you're very much right. How you are going to do that methodology through which strategy matters a lot. It can be directed supervised study, that is a focused study, that can be role play, that can be static dialogues, jigsaw, concept map, sketch, debate, cooperative learning, or the panel of experts. It can be anything, but again, your strategy and your methodology should be synchronized together. Um, if you feel like your methodology is different, but your strategy is not capable of achieving that objective, then it's useless, because you have to see that your methodology and strategy should go side by side. Okay, now let's talk about the few of the aids. The very basic aids can be chalkboard, whiteboard, flip charts, your presentations, your any IT integration things that you are having in the classrooms, your overheads, your real objects, the environment as a third teacher. It can be anything. So again, your aids all depend on the strategy that you are going to use during that thing. Now let's discuss about approach. Teaching approach is a holistic process. What is a holistic process actually? Holistic process is like we are dealing with the child as a whole personality. Yeah, we are not working in isolation. We are not working on only mannerism. We are not working on only academics. We are not working on only values, but we are dealing as a holistic as a proper personality, starting from the mannerism, then the values, then the academics, then the sports or the basic needs of a child. It's we always deal with the holistic approaches. That matters a lot. That includes your teaching steps, problem solving strategies, and the teaching methods. Again, if you feel like your teaching steps or your problem solving strategies are not enough to facilitate the child, obviously then you have to go back and check your methodology and strategies again. Obviously all these things are interlinked, interconnected with each other. And then again, the teaching methods, once you are done with this, with the strategy, then your teaching method matters a lot. Again, it varies from person to person. If I'm conducting the same lesson in the classroom, maybe I'm differently. But if you are going to conduct the same lesson plan, or maybe with the same strategy, with the same materials, same aids, it will give a different impact again. So it matters from person to person as well. Now, a few of the factors when selecting an instructional method: the intended specific outcome or the purpose. Intended specific outcome or purpose. This is the very basic thing. If you are unable to achieve your goal or your objective or your outcome, the learning outcome that you expect before the starting of the lesson, then again you have to reflect back on each and everything that we have already discussed, starting from methodology, then your aids, then your strategies, and then your approaches as well. Again, how you are going to reflect back? Obviously we are going to assess the child or during or after the lesson as well. So again, you have to be very specific, rather I was able to get that outcome or not. Then the size of the group size matters a lot in education sector, or maybe the dealing with the early years, or maybe the primary and secondary level. Again, size by size matters a lot. Once, if you are going to have a collaboration, maybe you are going to have a group discussion or a proper discussion platform, your size for the adults, maybe it can be very till 9 to 10 people in a group. But with the smaller kids, we usually prefer 5 to 6 groups, because their listening span is not more than that. Their collaborative skills are not that much enhanced that they can collaborate with more than 6 people at a time. Then learners preference for learning. The content sometimes dictates the method and required preparation. Obviously, the content dictates the method. The maybe if I'm going to have any specific object, with a specific methodology. Some things you are very obviously very particular about the methodology as per the content. So obviously sometimes the content do dictates the method and required preparation. Obviously, if you're not well prepared and you have just entered in the classroom, or maybe it varies again, maybe in a meeting room as well, and you are not prepared for that thing, then what will happen? It's not like this, it's going to be a disaster. No, maybe you are well experienced. You have that experience, you have that exposure to talk to people. But again, what will happen or maybe might happen is like maybe you can skip one of the few of the major points. Maybe you elaborate the minor points so much that you forgot to focus on the major one. So that is why the planning is always there. Again, the plan is always your plan B. Sometimes if the planning is there and I'm unable to execute it, or someone is taking care of that thing, then the plan should be there. So that is why we always focus on having proper planning. Now, guys, how do students learn? Students learn from different strategies, from different activities. But again, students do listen. Uh, do they do learn from reading, maybe read a book, listen to a trainer. They have very less listening skills nowadays. You have to be patient, and the students are lacking in this thing. And then watch a figure maybe, or watching a demo, or watch and listen and had a conversation, maybe that is a group discussion. And then the practice the object of the training, do and say. So what we are going to do, usually we are doing do and say. We are telling them what to do. What we do is the 90%, and again the 10% of what we read. So why it varies a lot, because now the students are not into reading, they are more into watching the things. They are more into listening, watching and listening side by side. And obviously in the end, what they usually hear, they usually do in the same thing. So nowadays the more practice I do and say, maybe they are more hands on. That is why. So maybe that pyramid, and again the pyramid changes with time to time, with the strategies. It is not I say it's hard and fast rule. We can't change this, but we can, as per the situation, as per the happenings in the system, or maybe in the classroom. Again, it's the same thing. How the learning pyramid works. It's the lecture. There is 5%. 5% again. The retention rates are less. Then reading 10%. Audio visual again. Students do like. Then demonstration. Demonstration is you always say कि आपको जो करवाना है, what you have to do, you have to demonstrate it. No need to say something. Just act in front of the students. Act in front of your child. They are definitely going to adopt that thing. Then discussion groups, again discussion. Why discussion? Because when the people of the same age group are sitting together and they are discussing anything, for them it matters a lot. Instead of listening to an adult, listening to your friend is more far better. Then practice by doing and teaching others. Again, teaching others, following the same age group, having those discussion sessions with the friends. It adds on to the learning. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about few of the designing thing, that analysis, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. These all the things, they are interlinked. While you are going to have any of the activity or strategy that you are going to conduct in the classroom. Analysis, design, develop. How you are going to design and develop the thing. First, the objectives are there. The designing of the objectives are there. How you are going to develop, what is the development to achieve that design or the objective. Then the implementation is how you again comes in the strategies and the methodology. Whatsoever you have to do it, how you're going to implement it. After the implementation, you have to evaluate yourself, even the learners as well, whether it went well, what are the key points, what are the needs, what are the minor points I have to work on. So you have to evaluate and reflect back on your own practices. And trust me, while reflecting back is is the key thing of your success in every way. Everywhere you have to reflect back on the daily basis, and then analysis of this. The analysis can be qualitative, quantitative. uh, which strategy went well, where I have to work on. Maybe I have made my plan, like I have come up with the strategies, like they are going to work like for 200% for some other people, but again that strategy or that methodology fails in my classroom. So I have to analyze, rather there was a difference in the teaching, maybe the difference was in the learners, maybe the capacity of the learners was not that much up to that level. So obviously the analysis is always there, and again the cycle goes on. You start with the designing of that same thing. So now let's discuss about the tutor's role. What is the tutor's role? Again, tutors or the facilitator roles matters a lot. Help students uncover the knowledge, build in the tech support, keep the focus on the task, not the technology. Informal assessments, you have to provide the remediations, and the enrichment. Students work in collaborative groups in front of the classroom disappears. How a teacher can be a good facilitator. Again, we have discussed this in the warm up and the icebreaker as well, uh, where you come up always where you come up with the answers like innovator, influencer, maybe mentor, maybe friend. So somehow, obviously, being a teacher, being a facilitator is to support the child. That is it. We are always there for the betterment of the child, just to support the child in a better way. Again, they we are just giving them the right direction. Okay, that how you're going to go about. This is the right direction. You should choose your path and start working on it. We are not there as a dictator in the classroom. We are not going to tell them each and every step. We're just going to tell them the direction. This is the direction you have to go all along on this thing, and I'm here to facilitate you wherever you feel like you are stuck or you need help. But again, you have to find your path yourself. That is the critical thinking that we always enhance in the students. It's useless if you're going to spoon feed them, if you're going to tell each and everything to them. Okay, how is going to how you have to do, how you have to achieve this goal, how you have to come up with all these things. No, the problem solving skills, it's the facilitator job to enhance those problem solving skills in a child. Then very basic and very effective strategy. Let's discuss about the jigsaw strategy. It's a teaching technique invented by social psychologists around in 1971. It's a four-skill approach that is integrating reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Both individual and group accountability are built into the process. Again, for a jigsaw, we use a jigsaw strategy for so many different things in a different way. It can be different way. There's no hard and fast rule. It's not like it's necessary to integrate with only reading, speaking, listening, and writing. It can be divided into four basic different skills as well. There's no hard and fast rule for this. Okay, so students of a normal size like 26 to 30 students are divided into competency groups to 4 to 6 students each, of which is given a list of subtopics to search. Individual members of each group then break off to work with expert from other groups, searching a part of the material being studied, after which they return to their starting group in the role of instructor. That is the best way to collaborate. What you have to do, you have to divide the whole uh, the room, or maybe the people sitting in the room, into smaller groups, maybe 4 to 6 people in one group, and they are going to have they are going to have a research. Then from each group, one member as an instructor is going to have a meeting together, and they are going to share the ideas and share the points that they have already discussed. And what they do, they bring that same expertise, their same knowledge to the own group, back to the first one. That is basic thing. Like you have to collaborate with different people at the same time, and sharing the ideas as well. The strategy is an efficient and very effective teaching method that encourages listening, engagement, interaction, peer teaching, and cooperation by giving each member of the group an essential part to play in the academic activity. Again, and it's a jigsaw, so every piece matters a lot. We are we are not going to have the final puzzle or the completed puzzle without even a one member. That is why you are over here the jigsaw is incomplete without even a single piece. So that matters a lot when you talk about the collaboration, when you talk about the inclusivity, maybe the inclusion. When we talk about the inclusion in the classrooms, uh, the jigsaw strategy is one of the best and most effective strategy, because here nobody's left out. You are giving each member a very essential part, essential role to play in that the same activity. And how it helps, it will boost up the confidence of a child. It will help them in feeling like I'm being valued. Maybe my point of view matters a lot. Maybe my point or my strategy was the most effective one, and the content that we were looking for was incomplete without my point being shared. So what will be the outcome? I'll feel valued. I feel valued, and it will eventually, it will boost up my confidence in that thing. And again, then I'll be able to maintain that interest in the classroom. Somehow we always have this thing. The students, they lost their interest. Ma'am, I have planned this activity, but the students were not focused. They were not interested in listening to me. Why? Because maybe the methodology or maybe the strategy you have planned was not effective for each and every member sitting in that room. Again, it matters a lot. It matters a lot. Everyone should feel valued. Everyone should feel accomplished by while sitting in that same room. Okay, so we are going to conclude on this. Like we have already to select the right tool for the right task. You have to be very, very selective while choosing the strategy for the task, what you are going to do. Again, the methodology, your strategy, and the approaches you are going to do matters a lot in the completion of the right task. Variety is valued. Obviously, you have to come up with the variety of the things. Method is determined by many factors. Obviously, again, depends on the situation, and it varies from class to class. Include instructional aids to add variety and clarity. I hope maybe my speed was more than the content, but I feel like we have discussed many of the things today. So just we are open up for the discussion.
Yes, if anybody would like to ask any question, you can ask her directly. You can even write in the chat box as well. Okay, so we will share certificate link towards the end. Right now, it's a question and answer session. If you would like to ask anything or would like Rubab to elaborate or explain anything, you can ask her. She's here. Okay, this means that you have explained everything so well, or you are not trying yourself to ask her any questions. We will share the certificate link, but I want some sort of engagement and would like your questions, if anything yet that you would like her to elaborate or explain. There are so many educationists, and I hope that some of you have a few questions or maybe some comments. It's very good that when people engage during the session and interact with the trainer, Okay, so Nurul Vara has shared her picture of doing a jigsaw implementation in her classroom. Thank you so much for sharing. So what are the strategies? Maybe you can write some of your strategies that you feel that you can share it with other people. So you may write it. Just like Nurul Vara has shared a strategy, a picture of her classroom. What strategies do you use? Would you like to share some of your strategies? You can share it in the chat box. Maybe we can learn from you. Yes, Anjum. Yes, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Sayyid Anjum Sahir is from Lahore, senior special educationist. Ma'am, I
Yes,
want to ask about you were talking about qualitative and quantitative data. I think. Let me clear what were you saying that क्वालिटेटिव और क्वांटिटेटिव में आप किस चीज की बात कर रही थी क्योंकि टीचिंग रोल के अंदर आप मतलब किस डाटे की बात कर रही थी तो वो थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कीजिएगा और अगर ये वाली बात आपने की थी कि क्वालिटेटिव टीचर का रोल है और क्वांटिटेटिव में कुछ ऐसा तो उसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कीजिएगा क्योंकि अब तो ट्राइंगुलेशन पे बात होती है चाइल्ड सेंटर की बात होती है तो टीचर का रोल तो डेफिनेटली होता ही होता है सो प्लीज काइंडली उसको थोड़ा सा एलाबोरेट कर दीजिए
yes, Rubab.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for asking. When we talk about, I totally agree to that thing. They're more like a facilitator to the students, or up now the strategies have been changed. But again, when we talk about the qualitative and the quantitative aspect of teaching, again, it's a very it plays a crucial role in assessing the teaching effectiveness. I was talking about the analysis. When I talked about the analysis after the implementation, so at that point, I talked about the qualitative and the quantitative, that how you are going to assess yourself and how you are going to assess the child, the effectiveness of the teaching in the student learning and your strategies. It matters a lot. Like for example, when you talk about the qualitative aspects in the teaching, you have to talk about the descriptive or the subjective content. You can be talking about the students' reflections, the feedback, the lesson effectiveness, maybe the creativity or the critical thinking was there or not, and how it is going to be beneficial. How it is going to be beneficial, like you are going to, it will help in the personalized learning. Lekin the personalized ki, when we talk about the one to one or the individual need of a child, it is about the differentiation. You're talking about the personalized learning for a child as per the need of a child. And again, when we talk about the quantitative is always in numerical, quantitative is always measurable. How you are going to measure, maybe while assessing the child, maybe there is a rubric. Maybe for early years, we are assessing the rubric, whether the statistics are there, the measurable outcomes are there. Have you achieved those outcomes or not? Maybe if you're talking about the primary or the secondary grades, maybe the assessment scores are there for you to evaluate. Maybe the test marks, maybe the quizzes, maybe the standardized exams, anything that again depends आपके सिस्टम के ऊपर कि हम किस चीज के ऊपर फोकस कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. Again, obviously, अब आप ये भी देखेंगे when we talk about the holistic thing, when we talk about, particularly we talk about the result oriented thing, then again we have variation in that. We are taking the quizzes, we are taking the end of units, we are taking the formal assessments, that we call it the proper examination. Then there's a percentage maybe of the attendance, there's a percentage of the participation in the classroom, change your notebooks, your notebook neatness and everything. So यहाँ से जो data driven चीज होती है ना, ठीक है, that is always the best thing for the curriculum improvement, because यहाँ पे you have given the measurable benchmark for the student progress. For example, even एक टाइम पे था सर, वी वर फोकसिंग ऑन, जैसे आप हम टेली मार्किंग बहुत सारी किया करते, बहुत पहले की बात है, बट अगेन नाउ दे आर लाइक so many just drag and drop softwares in which when you are going to enter the mark of the file as per the objective, the result is there in front of us. एक क्लास के अंदर how many percent the students were able to achieve that goal. Again, it will help us in reflecting back on our own plan.
Okay, thank you so much, Rabab. Is there anyone who would like to ask question? There were a few questions related to like not questions but comments that government schools and then I think somebody has replied it or not. Um, Low cost, no cost, and reuse materials. And sometimes when it's, I know it's very difficult sometimes that when you are applying a new strategy, but when the student get used to it, they follow. You know, when you are applying any strategy for the very first time, the students, for students, it is new. For you, it is new. So when you get a hang of it, after maybe doing it for once, twice, thrice, then you get a hang of it. And then it's like easy doing this often. Okay. So I know nothing is easy in this world. If you want to go out, you know, out of the way and you go extra miles, you need to work hard for it. Okay. And that is how we teachers are. I hope I have answered it, what whoever is asking about how to implement in government schools. I know in every school, even in private, some of the private schools, there are not ample resources. So it's the beauty of the teacher that that she can utilize whatever source resources are available and make the most of it. So yeah, that's how we teachers are. Okay, so it's time for the certificate. For those who were waiting for it and asking for it in the chat box. So I am now pasting the certificate link here. And if you would like to fill it and receive this in your chat box, not the chat box, sorry, the inbox. So the certificate link is pasted in the chat box. Fill it, fill the full Google form, write your correct spellings, your correct email address so that it lands into your inbox with the correct spelling of your name.